Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. Today's episode, we're going to talk about, are you ready for the Great Depression 2.0? Now, before I made this video, which is today, I've read this morning that the budget for 2022 is going to be something like $6 trillion. It's going to be the highest since World War II, or way higher than World War II, sorry. So now, that's going to put us in a deficit. Deficits, or federal deficits, if you will always affect the economy. Always. Right? And with that, I was already preparing to do this video again for the Great Depression, because if we were to get a Great Depression now, this shit would be on. So in 1929, October, if I'm not mistaken, was when the market crashed. And that sent the world into a fucking frenzy. So a lot of people are under this impression that the Great Depression only happened in the United States. No, it was an entire world. The entire world was affected by this. Damn near every country. Poor countries probably not so much, but all of the richer countries were absolutely affected by this, right? So back then, the United States, because now we're talking about our country, was barely able to handle what happened after that. They were barely able to supplement and give money to people who needed it. The government started a program to give people funds who were out of work, who needed to fucking live the day to day. Believe it or not, during the Great Depression, only one person jumped off a building that day. One guy. And I think it was in New York. And somehow that translated to many people jumping off. It was only one dude. So it was bad. And that guy fucking, sure as hell felt it. And more ways than one. And America was fucking destroyed for a short time. Now, the Great Depression, as far as the Depression part, was 1929 to 1933, right? So it was 4 years. And after that, America was still feeling the effects of the Great Depression. And it wasn't until World War II that America was boosted. The American economy was boosted after World War II, or while World War II was starting, because of all the building and the money and the spending that it took to get the economy back up and running, and to get America into the fight, which was more about. It was more about getting America into the fight than it was about the economy, though some people will argue the other way around. It was more about the economy and not getting America into a fight, the Americans into a fight. So it's you'll hear two arguments. So as far as what caused the Great Depression back then, it was the lack of spending of money, people holding on to their money all the way around. It was from the citizens to banks to politicians to businessmen. Everyone's stringent with their money. So it was a tighter hold on money, if you will. Whereas the 2008 Great Recession, they call it, 2008, it was the loosening of money, people being loose with their money and overspending. Right? So you have those two. Now, where does that fit into the prepper world? Well, guys, the Great Depression happens now in 2021 or 2022 or 2023. It would be absolutely more devastating than 1929. It would make 1929's Great Depression look like a picnic. Problem is, we have double the capacity of people now than we did then. So we have more people to support. But we have more people in the workforce than we did back then. So there will be more people out of work. The percentages of unemployment would be well past 25%. I think it was 25 to 30% back in 1929. It'd be well past that. All right, we're probably going to talk 40, 45%. Right, almost half. Keep in mind that's the workforce today, because it's so much bigger now, so many more companies. Right. Now, in 1929, we had 121 million people in the United States. In the United States, in 2021, we have 346 million people in this country. So that's better than half. Okay, better than half. A larger population, more people to support, more people to give money to if this shit was to happen. Now, that goes without saying, guys. The Great Depression happened. There was food scarcity. So it wasn't a food shortage, but there was food scarcity. Maybe you can call it a food shortage, because farmers also got hit as well. They had to lay off a lot of farms had to lay off a lot of workers. There was a lot less food coming out of fucking the American West, if you will. And I'm talking from the East Coast standpoint. So there was a lot less food coming out of the farmlands. And there was definitely food lines, long food lines. All right. So now we have food lines now, while everything is okay. During the Great Depression, there would be fucking devastatingly long food lines, and there wouldn't be enough food to be handed out. To boot, I think they would start food lotteries, which is extremely fucking bad. You get the food lotteries, you know it's done. It is over. Now, America was able to recover out of the first Great Depression. Again, way less people to contend with and to take care of. We have way more people. We probably won't get out of this. And if we do, it'll take years. It won't be 4 years. It'll probably be more like 10, 15, 20 years. And then we'll still feel the effects after that. So, how do we prepare for this? How, as preppers, do we prepare for this next Great Depression, which would be catastrophic? Guys, we're talking about food shortages. We're talking about homelessness, joblessness, high fucking crimes. When people are in a bad spot, crimes are committed. Bottom line, right? So now, we're going to see all of that go up. We're going to see people getting robbed of their food if the food lottery thing starts. Bad place to be. Cops are probably not going to want to come into work because they're going to be dealing with a lot more. They think they're busy now. Forget about a fucking another Great Depression. They're going to be absorbently busy. They're probably going to be getting shot at. You're going to see armored cars get robbed left and right more constantly. You're going to see more banks get robbed more constantly. You're going to see people getting robbed in the street more. Right? So now you're going to see all of these problems. Then again, the food line or the food lottery is going to be fucking a travesty. Then you're going to see people living in their homes, but maybe they don't have power because they can't afford to pay it. Right? They're going to be eating smaller meals because they can't go to the supermarket because the supermarket might be shut down. People are going to make a run on the bank the day it happens. People are going to make a run on the supermarkets the day that happens. At least the smarter half will. They'll fucking shoot off to the Targets, the Walmarts, the supermarket. You're going to see a run all on the same day. Because I think we're more educated now in 2021 as opposed to 1929. So I think if the market crashed and the news says this is worse than the Great Depression, you're going to see people running to the banks. You're going to see people running to fucking supermarkets. You're going to see people running to gun stores. You're going to see a run on everything if the next Great Depression happened. And that's going to be the beginning of the chaos that day. It's not going to take a day or two for people to hit people. It's going to hit them right away. And then they're going to be like, fuck. And everyone's going to be headed to the stores at the same time. So now as preppers, we need to not end up in that situation. It's why we prepare. It's why we get the things we need and we keep getting the things we need. So when that moment happens, when the next depression happens, because it's not a matter of if, and I hate saying this, it's a matter of when it happens, we'll be sitting pretty for the most part. For the most part. There's still going to be dangers attached to this Great Depression, guys. It's going to be a ton of dangers attached to this next Great Depression. So I'm not going to sit here and bog down all the reasons why the Great Depressions happened and all of the crazy, boring bullshit. You can read about it for yourself. I found out for myself why it happened. I'm like, this is fucking shit. We're headed in that direction now. So now with the 2022 budget of $6 trillion, that could be the tipping point. That could absolutely be the tipping point. So, with that, guys, we need to definitely be more prepared and I think a little more concerned about the Great Depression. Now, I'm not saying get scared. I'm not saying, yo, it's going to happen tomorrow. It could happen 5 years from now. It could never happen again. Listen, I don't think it'll never happen again. I think it definitely will. I think it could happen this year, next year. It could happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever. Nonetheless, we need to be prepared for it. That's the bottom line. So again, don't be scared. Don't get nervous. Just keep preparing. Don't sit there and panic, guys. Don't be the guys on the fucking supermarket line. And here's the other thing. Everyone needs to be very, very careful of, including myself. When you see the run on the supermarket, your knee-jerk reaction or the knee-jerk reaction you're going to have is to join the fucking run on the supermarket or the run on the banks. Don't. Just fucking be easy, right? Listen, take as much cash as you can out. If you are a prepper and you're paying attention, you're probably going to already be at the banks before the rush happens. Pull what you can out. Don't feel like you need to be a part of the run on the supermarket. You need to be in there with the crowd at the Walmarts and shit, fighting over the last scraps. Don't do it. Be easy and hang back. Let everybody else fucking hammer themselves out with that bullshit. Stay the fuck home. That's why we prepared. We prepared so we don't have to end up out there. All right. So, again, guys, the same rhetoric, the same shit I tell you all the time. Stack it to the ceilings. Or, well, other channels say stack it to the ceilings. Just keep preparing. Stack it to the ceiling, stack it sideways, stack it all along your hallway. Whatever the fuck you're going to stack it, just stack the shit. Keep it going. Keep it coming. Don't let anyone fucking tell you otherwise. Because the financial bubble is going to burst. And when it bursts, it's going to be worse than painful. Right? So we have to keep that in mind. We have to be ready for that pain. This is why we prepare, so we're ready for it. So like I said, I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, it's going to happen this month. It's going to happen next year. It could happen between today and fucking 5 years from now. Or 10 years from now. And listen, some people will argue we don't even have 5 years. Fair enough. Right? But nonetheless, guys, this shit's coming. This shit is coming, and we just have to be more prepared. If we can get through the rest of this year, guys, without any other more bullshit going on, just keep preparing. Ignore the bullshit. Ignore the distractions, right? Ignore the fucking vaccine bullshit and the fucking political bullshit. Focus on yourself and your family and keep preparing. All right, guys, other than that, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like, subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Telegram. And that's the Angry Truth channel. You can follow me on Telegram and Instagram. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching.